Please be aware that this movie review contains spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie I'm about to talk about, I would suggest saving this video to watch later, and then going and watching the movie, and then letting me know what you thought of the film after you've seen the video. So again, spoilers everywhere. You've been warned. Again, just quit the video if you haven't seen the film.
I was designed to save the world. People would look to the sky and see hope. I'll take that from them first.
So, Avengers Age of Ultron is not exactly the film you think you're going to get by watching a trailer. I think the film's been out long enough to actually establish that fact. It actually is a very, very different film to the trailers, but the trailers also paint a pretty good, and actually just like a brief outline of what the film is. The film actually manages to be a character piece that is really, really, really good. And then however, when the film gets distracted from that character piece, it kind of does have some flaws. Director Joss Whedon definitely knows how to make an Avengers film. He knows how, and by that he knows how to use these characters. In the action scene, especially the opening action scene, you know that these characters are just on top of their game. They know how to fight. They know their fighting style. And each one is just separate in that, and their dialogue through the action sequence is really great, even though that scene actually manages to be a little bit clunky and a little bit too CGI heavy for my liking. There is some great stuff in there, and after that scene, Joss Whedon really gets to get inside the head of these characters. Every character on the Avengers team has passion put into them, besides maybe Thor. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but Thor, I just am not feeling him as a character right now, and I feel like he needs a overhaul as a character, because I just think he's the most boring, bland piece of wood in the Avengers team. But everybody else was actually fantastically written, and that party scene at the Avengers Tower was absolutely fantastic, really funny, and also actually gave the characters something to call back. I thought that was really, 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 really great. And there actually are a couple of jokes that last the length of the movie, which I thought were really fun. And again, just great little character moments that you don't get in blockbusters that often these days. They're very not character focused. And Avengers Age of Ultron does a great job at being character focused. And I think, again, it's credit to the director Joss Whedon, because I have a feeling if somebody else directed it, it wouldn't be as character focused, or the characters wouldn't be as interesting as they are here. Now, in terms of the action scenes, there definitely are some fun parts, but overall, I actually kind of found it hard to get really, really invested in the action scenes. Again, there are some cool parts. The Hulkbuster scene was cool, but it was very CGI, this whole film, and I was kind of taken out of the film and not really connected to those scenes, because we're essentially just watching pixels during those scenes. There's some good stuff in the action scenes, but overall, I think what I was more interested in were the characters, and they were great. The performances in the film were really, really good, but not something I went out of the cinema going, wow, the performances were amazing. But you know what? I think I know why that is. We've seen each of these actors play these characters for a while now. I think this is the 11th film in the MCU, and some characters have been there since the first film. So it's been a long time. It's been about 10 films in between there that we've seen these actors, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth as well, play Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. We've known them for a while, so it's not like they blow us away every time. There's a point where it kind of just becomes normal for them to be great. So if they're great, but not absolutely extraordinary, we're not like, whoa. We just so used to them being those characters. I think it's safe to say that they are those characters now. There are great moments from each of the actors I just named. I think they're all pretty good versions of the characters. They know the characters now. Mark Ruffalo is a great Hulk, probably the best we've actually seen on screen. But in terms of being both Bruce Banner and the Hulk, I thought that was, he just nails it every time he gets to do that, and this is only the second time. And Scarlett Johansson is a really great Black Widow, a character I've kind of just gotten to like in the last couple of films. Now there are 3 new additions to the Avengers crew, and a villain that we haven't seen before. Ultron is a good villain. I think I'm confident saying that he's at least a good villain. However, the trailers kind of paint him as being like on the level of the Joker or another fantastic villain, one of your favorites. He kind of just looked like a fantastic villain in the trailer. He looked to tear the Avengers apart, and I can't say he's one of the best villains I've ever seen, but I will say I did really like him. I thought Ultron's wit, probably given to him by James Spader and Joss Whedon, was absolutely fantastic. There are definitely memorable moments from there, especially when the Hulk is coming into his jet. I thought that was a really great moment, and when he's cutting off Andy Serkis's hand, he's kind of just quips throughout the film. What pretty interesting to watch and funny as well. And it gave Ultron characterization, which is interesting because he's a robot. And I have a feeling that's where a lot of people are kind of either confused or upset. But you know what? If he didn't have that humor or that characterization that James Spader had tried to give him, he would just be really bland, if you think about it. I don't think much about the character besides, James Spader's performance really worked. I think he kind of looks a little bit stupid, and just the character I don't think was really fantastically written. So James Spader is like something I can take out of the film and still be great. I think he was really, really good as Ultron, but unfortunately the character just, I was slightly underwhelmed by it. Well, not slightly underwhelmed, I was underwhelmed, but we did get something that we didn't expect to get, which is a funny villain. At least I didn't expect to get that, so that's cool. Now, let's get into the 3 new members of the Avengers team, and can I just say that this film really, really does a great job at balancing the characters, because with 3 new additions to the team atop the already established, there's more than 5 already established main characters, so and we're adding 3 on top. None of them felt forced at all and came in at the right time of the film. So let's talk about Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, the brother and sister duo, which they're never actually called in the film due to rights issues, but they are those characters. They are played by Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson. They were really, really good in the film, maybe minus some dodgy accent, some sort of European accent. I think it's made from a made-up country they're in. But overall, I thought their performances were really, really good. They really made you care about the characters. I really liked their backstory, that their parents had died, and that the missile responsible for the parents' death was a Stark Industries missile. It was a really nice kind of connective moment, and definitely made us understand those characters' motivations at the beginning of the film. But they do turn good and join the Avengers. The Avengers fight against Ultron, and their characters are really memorable. And even though Quicksilver dies at the final battle, I actually cared about the fact that he died. But you know what? Overall, Quicksilver was not the best part of the movie, and actually, like, not even a better Quicksilver than the one we saw in X-Men: Days of Future Past. He was good, but I just feel like he just wasn't that memorable. I feel like the reason we really cared about him dying was Elizabeth Olsen's performance of Scarlet Witch. I thought she was really, really, really good in the film. Like, better than I expected. And I feel like better than a lot of people expected. I mean, it's not that we were expecting her to suck, but just like, not to pull off a performance like that. She was really, really good. She understood the character's motivations. And again, besides the accent, there is a good performance in there. And her reaction when her brother dies is actually really, really sad. So I definitely give Elizabeth Olsen, props. Because, and also the character, because I actually feel like she could have been the main villain of the film, and a more interesting villain than Ultron, because she ultimately did more to break up the team. She was the one giving the Avengers, those nightmares or daymares. Ultron wasn't. She was more interesting, I feel like, and if she was the main villain, I would have been happy with that. And then maybe even turned, good to stop what she started? I don't know. But I feel like that could have actually made for a better film. Just because she just seemed like a more interesting villain. And I like that there's going to be a hero that in the Avengers that maybe doesn't know the full extent of her powers. I think that's going to be interesting to see in coming films.
All right, everybody, stand down. You listen to me? That little witch is messing with your mind. You're stronger than her. You're smarter than her. You're Bruce Banner. Right? Don't mention puny Banner. Okay.
It was great to see Paul Bettany as the Vision. He didn't get a lot of screen time, but he definitely did make an impression. And again, just another new character that didn't feel forced into the film. There was a fantastic moment in which he lifts up Thor's hammer, which is actually a callback to the party scene. I thought that was really, really funny, and a lot of people, when the reaction was really, really good, and I dropped my jaw at that scene. I thought that was just a nice little callback. Again, the film has a lot of character moments in the midst of the madness, so it actually enough character moments to make me say, okay, this is a good film. It was great to see Andy Serkis as Ulysses Claw, somebody who will come up again, I think, in Black Panther. Yeah, Black Panther. So it'd be good to see him. I like to see him just playing characters that are him, because he's kind of notable for his motion capture work, and he's great at that. But it's nice to just see his face for once. Now let's talk about the writing of the film. There's so many great character moments, as I've said, and I'm really, really excited about that, because again, you don't see that a lot in Hollywood films. memorable moments that I would watch the whole film again, flaws and all, to see those moments again. I think they're really, really, really good. And there have been some criticism of a certain relationship that had sparked between Hulk and Black Widow, and I just don't get that at all. A lot of people say it diminishes Black Widow's role, in the fact that she can only be a love interest. But you know what? The film doesn't portray her as that. The film portrays her as kind of the one who wants this, the one who's actually starting to go after the Hulk. The Hulk is kind of like the damsel in distress. I thought that was kind of an interesting role reversal, to be honest with you. And it's not the best part of the film. Definitely, it is kind of a forgettable romance, but I definitely don't get a lot of the criticism it's getting, because again, I actually feel like it works into both of their arcs and actually kind of addresses, certain the characters' backstories, and again adds an extra layer to the film, and that extra layer is actually added, with Scarlet Witch as well. And again, that's why I think she could have been a more interesting villain. But yeah, Hulk and Black Widow, I didn't have a problem with it. It's not the best part of the film, but I definitely don't understand some of the criticism it has gotten. Now, let's talk about some of the flaws I had with the writing. I feel like there are definitely some moments in there that appeal to the fans that the very speculative and hardcore fans. Now, I don't want to use that term as a kind of it's kind of derogatory, I guess you could say, but there are hardcore fans out there, so and there are definitely moments in the film that definitely feel like they are just there to please them. And I definitely got some enjoyment out of some moments, like the Vision lifting up Thor's hammer. And I did like the Hulkbuster scene overall. But, there are definitely some moments that are just for the fans. And I feel like they sometimes even just stop the story and the character moments of the film to just kind of just be there, and I definitely didn't appreciate that, because I'm like, oh, the film's just kind of stopping for moments that I don't really understand, and I definitely felt, again, Vision was a poorly written character, besides his sometimes humour. Again, I feel like James Spader is a large part in making that character good. But overall, I just thought he was boring, and you take away, again, James Spader from the film and replace him with just another actor, I highly doubt that he'd be memorable. I thought the ending, which is in the writing, I guess, the final battle, overall, it's just very much the same as the Avengers. Just very much the same. And I did like some parts of the action in the film, but it's very CGI heavy, and kind of just, it kind of takes away from seeing real people, it's very much cartoony, and it's not exactly terrible. I mean, somebody could enjoy that, but I just kind of wasn't connected. I didn't feel invested in the action scenes, and also, it's very much the same thing as last time. A kind of boring army, and easy to take apart. And again, there were great moments in that fight scene, but overall, I was kind of tuned out watching those scenes, which is sad, because I want to see the Avengers fight as much as everybody else does. But if it's not really grabbing me, then I have to say that's a flaw in the film. However, I did really, really like that the Avengers went out of their way to save the citizens of the city. I really, really loved that. And you know what? I didn't have a problem with the destruction in Man of Steel, and this film does definitely have a lot of destruction in it. I didn't have a problem with that. I have a lot more problems with Man of Steel than the amount of destruction in that film, believe me. But you know what? When I saw the Avengers going out of their way to save the citizens of that city, I'm like, this is what Superman should have done. I thought that was a really great touch to a kind of just not very investing action scene, to be honest with you. So I did like that. I actually really liked that. And I also just like seeing Hawkeye used to his full potential. Hawkeye was great in this film, by the way. Jeremy Renner, he was one of my least favorite Avengers amongst Thor and Captain America in the first film. Captain America is now one of my favorite Avenger after the Winter Soldier, and now Hawkeye is up there as well. He was fantastic in that film. So Thor was kind of the only one I feel like is not that great of a character, to be honest with you. Just Hawkeye with his family, again, that was a character-driven moment that I loved. So when Avengers Age of Ultron focuses on the characters, it's a really great film. However, I feel like there are definitely some flaws in the villain, in some of the action scenes, that kind of do drag the film down. Now, again, not saying it's a bad film, but it isn't without its flaws. But it does have its really good moments as well. I overall really liked it and would see it again. So I want to know what you think of Avengers Age of Ultron. It's been over a month since the film was released, and I feel like now people can start talking about it, as I feel like a lot of people have started to forget about it. Let me know if you feel like it's a forgettable movie, or if you really, really loved it. Again, let me know why down below in the comments.